Let's talk about the culture wars within conservatism.
Yeah.
In Australia, we have the coalition as the major alternative to the left.
Yeah.
There's lots and lots of minor conservative parties who are a lot more conservative than the major party and coalition that's on offering. Talk to me. Look, undoubtedly, there's a crisis right there, right now. You've got Trump, who says what he thinks, answers a question directly, and doesn't care about the consequences to his career. He's just absolutely convinced, and I describe the crisis as this: the conservative leaders nowadays are more interested in winning for the wrong reasons than losing for the right reasons.
Yeah. Well, they're more interested in staying in power. Hate to say it.
Yeah.
Now you'd say, well, it's good to have conservatives in power because then we can get our agenda through. But often that's not the case. They want to stay in power for whatever reason, sometimes bad reasons. And often our concerns are not getting through, right? We've had years of liberal government here in Australia. We've had, years of Republican in America and so on. And often that has not translated into the very concerns that kind of ordinary people have.
The free speech legislation of 18C was a promised campaign platform.
Where was Tony Abbott on that? So that is why, exactly as you say, the Trump phenomena. I mean, we've got actually 5 or 6 things that have all just recently come upon us. We've had Trump. We've had Brexit. A referendum, an important one in Italy, was just held. Marine Le Pen has just announced her candidacy for president in France. Geert Wilders, the anti-immigration, anti-Muslim politician, is now poised in March to actually win the top job. And just today we've heard in the news that there may be a good chance that our own Cory Bernardi will in fact leave the Libs and start a new genuine conservative party. So we're seeing this all over the place.
I imagine there'll be a lot of disillusioned coalition party members who will follow Cory in the beat of a heart.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's no question. Again, Brexit, Trump, this all demonstrates people are really getting fed up. We put all our faith and hope and trust in a so-called conservative party, and what have we got for it at the end of the day? I mean, we've had liberal governments in Victoria. Have we dealt with abortion? Have we dealt with all kinds of horrible laws that have been passed? Nothing seems to change. And you think, why keep beating the same dead horse? I mean, I'm not telling people to leave the major parties. You have to prayerfully, carefully consider what you do. But there is a very wide movement throughout the West of people being dissatisfied with the system, dissatisfied with career politicians, dissatisfied with those who don't want to rock the boat. And of course, as the culture moves more and more left, guess what? Politics does as well. What we used to regard as a conservative political party is now slowly shifting. At best, they're in the center.
Yeah.
And on many ways, look at even the battles today with the Libs about homosexual marriage. There are plenty who don't want to hold the line.
I don't know how a party can take itself seriously, calling itself conservative, and yet having a leader who doesn't support such a fundamental socially conservative issue like traditional marriage.
Yeah, well, exactly. And there'd be millions of ordinary Australians, some Christians, some not, who feel the same way. Why is this leader not doing what a conservative leader you would have thought he should be doing? So, yes, many of us are quite unhappy, of course, with the current liberal leader. And people like Cory Bernardi are as well. So the real question is this going to work pragmatically? Let's say he does split, takes a bunch of Libs with him. That can be good and bad. Then you end up with 2 smaller conservative parties against the bigger united Labour Green party.
Do you think it might actually end up giving a bit more? What if it actually gave more stability? Because Cory leading his own party could basically say, all right, now let's work together. There's no disunity. We're just actually conservative.
That's right.
You feel free to hold the centre, and together we can govern. The Westminster system is not a 2-party system. It's a multi-party system.
It could work. And by the way, they said the same about Trump. You're going to split the conservative vote. You're not going to get in, blah, blah. he's in. He's actually, in a sense, united, not just obviously the conservatives, but some disgruntled moderates. So somebody like Cory could do it. I like Cory. He's a great guy. I mean, you got practical things. Will he work with, say, a Pauline Hanson? Will they be able somehow to work together? What about, you've got about 6 smaller Christian and family parties. Are they going to be able to somehow? So there's a lot of nuts and bolts that really have to be worked out. But the point is, people are tired of the system. We're getting nowhere fast. We're tired of being betrayed by so-called conservative leaders. So this may be the ripe time, as we see all around the West, for a real change.
I'm pretty confident that Malcolm Turnbull's an avid follower of this show. So as he's watching right now, what's your advice on how to save the major Conservative Party of Australia from abandoning its base and splintering itself and fracturing off? How will it maintain authority and popular support to form government for the next decade?
Well, it won't if he simply keeps doing what he's been doing. I mean, simply stabbing Tony in the back in the first place. That did not get us off to a good start. Again, he's pandering to all the moderates and more liberal elements, small L liberal in his own party. The good guys, I was just at a meeting 2 days ago with Kevin Andrews, Eric Abetz. These are the good guys in the libs. They should be right up there with key positions, right? They're all kind of lingering in the backbenches and doing hardly anything. So if he were serious about uniting the conservatives, even putting on the show of being halfway conservative, he'd start getting some of these people, and Cory Bernardi, into key positions. But, well, I don't think he will, sadly. And so he's shooting himself in the foot, and he's forcing Cory's hand in this regard.
Do you think... Look, I have to feel sorry for Malcolm. I don't wish him ill. I actually wish him success. I wish he was a great, strong Conservative Party leader. For the sake of Australia.
Right.
I'm not personally invested in his career. But it seems like the leftists accuse him of being submissive and beaten by the extreme right, while the actual conservatives are like, come on, will you please introduce a conservative?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, well, again, it's the left calling the agenda, delivering the narrative. I mean, that's the whole idea, and Malcolm has fallen for it. Oh, there's this bogeyman group out there, these so-called, well, religious right especially. Put those two words together, and you are talking real poison. You know, we can't have anything to do with those guys. But that's just the left's narrative. They've managed to demonize not just political conservatives, but basically, I think, the majority of everyday Australians who actually believe the same thing.
Absolutely.
They are tired of seeing Muslims killing people on our own streets. They are tired of seeing, you know, all this foolishness that political correctness and the liberal agenda has foisted upon us. I think they would jump at well, we see how well Pauline Hanson is doing already, both federally and Queensland. I think they would jump as well if Cory does something like this.